Hello. Do any of you remember the first time you attempted your favorite sport or hobby? I imagine you do, because I remember the first time I twirled baton. It was in my backyard with a branch. The first time I twirled fire baton was at a concert. Me and my baton partner were just walking around and we saw a guy selling fire staffs. We asked him if he could cut those in half for us, and we started twirling that night. Baton is a sport many people, like my partner and I, dedicate their lives to. Like many of the sports you have come to love, it is a way to channel passion and determination. I grew up in a world of baton twirling, starting when I was 8 years old and joined my first team. I went to competitions every weekend and practiced every day. Understanding fire baton can help you to understand the dedicated athletes who hone their skills their entire lives. Today, I will walk you through the equipment that is needed, how to use the fuel, and simple twirling tricks and how to put out the fire baton. You will need a number of items in order to properly control and twirl fire. First, you can buy a fire baton on websites such as starlinebaton.com. You want to obtain one that's not hollow, like the makeshift one that me and my partner bought at a concert. Ours is hollow, and therefore fire actually travels through the shaft and heats it up, so you kind of have to keep it moving at all times. Luckily, people have perfected this and made them skinny like regular batons so that that doesn't happen. So the best fuels to use are kerosene or citronella oil. Kerosene can be purchased at your local Walmart, and that's why I use that. Tin foil is also needed, like I have here, in order to let the fuel set in. I've started this already because you have to let it sit in for 1 minute. A damp towel or fire blanket are needed to safely put the fire out. I use a damp towel because it's cheap. Now that we know what objects we will need to use, let's learn how to use them. Before beginning to twirl, you will need to use fuel and let it set in. So I'm using this regular baton, and I will demonstrate. You're going to need to put the baton in almost to the bottom of a mason jar. Take it out, wrap it in tin foil, when you're done with one end, you're going to start with the other end. Dip it almost all the way to the bottom, take it out, wrap it in tin foil, and then, as I said before, let it set for a minute. I'm going to set this one and the kerosene away from us while we begin to twirl. Now we can go ahead and take off the tin foil and light the baton. I suggest using a camp lighter because they're longer and it can keep it away from your body. People tend to use it because it seems less dangerous. You may be asking yourself at this point, how does anyone attempt such a dangerous sport? Well, you'll start with a simple thumb toss and grow to become more advanced. When you're done with this, make sure to put it out. In order to explain simply how to perform a thumb toss, you're going to want to turn your thumb, pop the baton up, and catch it with the same hand. Another simple trick that you can perform that can lead into more advanced trips is a hand roll or a backhand roll. A hand roll can lead into a most dazzling trick known as butterflies. You do continuous hand rolls over each other to make the illusion that the baton is spinning continuously. A backhand roll can lead into a backhand catch. So you flip it off the back of your hand and you catch it in the other back of your hand. These are just simple tricks that you can do to become a champion at fire baton. Once you are done, you can either put the fire out by blowing it out if the wick is light, but since we haven't been twirling for a while, that's unlikely. So you can use a damp towel or a fire blanket. This actually smothers the baton and makes sure that the fire can't breathe. Today, I spoke with you about twirling fire baton. We now know what materials are needed, how to use the fuel, and how to twirl and put out the fire baton. The next time that you see a baton twirler, I hope that you understand the complexities of the sport.